Members, it's time and we have a quorum. First of all, confirmation of the minutes of the 7th meeting held on the 27th of November 2015. The minutes have been forwarded to members. We have not received any proposals for amendments. Can we confirm the minutes, please? Matters arising. Nothing under that. Business arising from previous council meetings. Legal Service Division report on bill referred to House Committee in accordance with Rule 54(4). Financial Legal Advisor. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The paper number is LS 15/15 to 16. There is one bill, Financial Institutions Resolution Bill. The bill seeks to establish a regime for the financial institutions which could no longer stay in business, and is to reduce the impact on the financial stability in Hong Kong should the financial institution fail. Now, according to the government, the amendments are to make sure Hong Kong complies with new international standards. The panel on financial affairs was briefed on the 2nd of March this year. And panel members raised a number of concerns. Well, this is a complex bill. It's a lengthy bill as well, so we would suggest Bills Committee. Members, do you wish to set up a Bills Committee? Okay, Mr. Ho proposes a Bills Committee. Who would like to join, please? Okay, the Secretary will circulate papers. Yes, Mr. Kwok Him. Now, I have some questions. This is a new bill, brand new bill. You know, it's submitted at this table at this time. Can we complete the work? Otherwise, our effort will be in vain and we will start afresh next term. Well, what you said is correct. Further business for the council meeting of the 9th of December 2019. Now, the meeting will be from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Wednesday, on Thursday from 9 a.m. to about 8 p.m. and then on the 11th of December, Friday, we should start at 9 and end at about noon because there will be a fire drill on that day. Yes, questions? As you know, next week, of course, the main business is the copyright amendment bill. I've submitted committee stage amendments. Actually, the chairman, the Bills Committee chairman, submitted the CSAs on behalf of our. Originally, President Zhang said he would let us know by noon today whether the CSA would be approved. But then now we're told we will only know before Wednesday. Now, Mr. Wong Yuk-man has submitted some 900 CSAs. If we know too late if these will be approved, then maybe there's not enough time for us to prepare our speeches. So if members don't have enough time to consider the bill, can we suggest to the President to delay the consideration of the bill by a week? Well, I will pass on your views to the President. Mr. Albert Chan. I don't know, you're just referring the views or what? If we only know the decision by Tuesday, it's too late. Now we cannot be told today if the CSAs are approved. Then I think the President should really move the bill to the following week, because that's a complex bill. I'm not a member of the Bills Committee either. I think the Bills Committee report is some 40 pages, right? Just the Bills Committee report is some 40 pages. I'm just reading the Bills Committee report, and then I have to study the individual CSAs, and there are so many different views online. Each day I receive some 40-50 emails just on the copyright bill. So if the President cannot make a decision today, can we have a discussion here at the House Committee? I think we should just propose to the President to defer that item by a week because there's no urgency. Ms. Sit Ho. I understand the Secretariat and the President are working very hard to look at the 900 plus CSAs. If we only know by next week which will be allowed, which will not, it will make things difficult for us. because we have the duty to speak at the council meeting on Mr. Raymond Wong's amendments. My understanding is that there are at least 100 of the CSAs which will have substantial effect on the law, whether they pass or not. So we need time to digest the CSAs and speak on them. If we're only told by Tuesday how many of the CSA would be approved, it would be very difficult for us to make preparations. I hope the President could appreciate that. Now, it's not a matter of whether the Secretariat has enough time to deal with the CSAs, but when he has a decision, we also have to prepare our speeches, and that also takes time. Mr. Gary Fan, I agree with Mr. Raymond Chan. Now, can we have a consensus here? We shouldn't just ask the President, we shouldn't just ask the Chairman to pass on our views and ask if the President, because the President could only let us know by Tuesday next week whether the CSAs of the 903 CSAs of Mr. Raymond Wong could be allowed. Now, I have only started writing speeches on the amendments of Mr. Dennis Kwok, Ms. Sid Ho, but not Mr. Wong's ones. If if more of Mr. Raymond Wong's amendments are allowed, then the way we approach the matter would be different. So I hope the President will solemnly consider allowing us more time to prepare for the debate. Mr. Chen Kam Lam. Mr. Chairman, in general, it is rather unusual for a situation like this to happen. Usually members are concerned about the drafting issues, and so some members have proposed a large number of CSAs. I hope members would appreciate that the Secretary and the President would need time to consider them. So it's true there's a tight time frame now. And it's true if by today a decision cannot be made as to which of the CSAs would be allowed and which would not, and then we have to wait till next Tuesday, I agree, then the time allowed for members to make preparation would be short. Even I, as the Chairman of the Bills Committee, would need to prepare speeches to move certain amendments on behalf of members. And now I'm also put in a difficult situation. So are those amendments allowed or not? I don't know yet. But I need time to prepare my speeches. So I hope the Secretary General will let us know what the progress is. Can you let us have the decision by today? If that's the case, I think we will still have time to prepare for the debate. But if you would only let us know next Tuesday, then it's possible members would have difficulties preparing for the debate. Thank you. SG. Mr. Chairman, allow me to report the latest progress. We expect that by Monday morning, all the documents will be ready for members' reference. Okay, so members, you know more or less the time frame. I've already said I would pass on your views. I definitely would do so. I've said so, and it's already in the minutes. Report number 7. Well, but that's always the way you treat me. But I told you I would do it. Report number 7. Stroke 15 to 16 of the House Committee on Consideration of Subsidiary Legislation and Other Instruments. There are 2 items. The period for amendment will expire at the Council meeting of the 9th of December. No members have asked to speak on those 2 items. Business for the council meeting of the 16th of December. 22 questions, 6 oral and 16 written. Bills first reading and moving a second reading. Inland Revenue Amendment Number 4, Bill 2015, and Fire Services Amendment Bill 2015.
Government motions. We have not received any notice. Members' motions. Mr. Ipok Him to formulate policies to come back on fake refugees, and Mr. Wong Kok-hong's motion to study the protection of trees and management legislation, and the deadline for giving notice is the 9th of December. Report of Bills Committee and Subcommittees. Report of the Bills Committee on there are 5, and the lists are already circulated to members. If members would like to speak on the subsidiary legislation, please give notice by 5 p.m. the 8th of December, Tuesday. Report from Bills Committees and Subcommittees. Report of the Bills Committee on Bankruptcy Amendment Bill 2015. Mr. Chan Kumnam. Thank you.
係訂定一套新嘅安排，以取代現行嘅潛逃者。
The bill amends the bill to replace existing abscondee regime. Under the new arrangements, if a bankrupt has failed to complete an initial interview and thereby causing prejudice to administration of the bankruptcy estate, the court will be given the discretion to determine to order a non-commencement order, so that the relevant period just counts towards the discharge from bankruptcy should be treated as not commencing. The BC has met 3 times and to receive views from the deputations. In principle, we support the new arrangements dealing with the situation where the bankruptcy has not attended the initial interview, so as to encourage his cooperation right from the beginning. Having considered views from the BC and deputations, the administration has proposed 3 types of amendments. First, to clearly set out that under the new arrangement, the bankrupt must personally attend the initial interview requested by the trustee, and secondly, to amend the transition arrangements for bankruptcy orders issued before the commencement of the bill, and some technical arrangements. The Bills Committee support the second reading debate of the bills on the 16th of December for commencement on the 1st of November 2016. The BC has no objection, and the BC will not move any amendments to the bill. For details of our deliberation, please refer to our report. Thank you. May I remind members that the deadline for giving notice is the 7th of December, Sunday. Census and Statistics 2016 Population Census Order report from the subcommittee. Ms. Ho. Thank you. The Census and Statistics 2016 Population Census Order provides for issues including the implementation dates and also data topics to be covered in relation to the population by census to be held in 2016. The subcommittee has met 3 times. On one occasion, we met with deputations, and some members are of the view that data topics on sexual minorities should be covered in the 2016 by census to assist the administration to formulate policies and legislation covering sexual minority. In fact, in 2013, the Census and Statistics offered to the relevant panel to do this. However, some members did not support this on the grounds that, this has been accepted by all members of the subcommittee, and that is the by census to be held in 2016 is a compulsory one. All interviewees are duty-bound to provide true answers to all the questions, and yet interviewers may not be willing to provide true data on such a complicated and sensitive issue. Besides, the surveyors are part-timers or students, and they may not be equipped with the necessary skills. However, the Census and Statistics Department has pointed out that for registered same-sex marriages in other jurisdictions, when the interviewers reply question on relations with the headship of household, they can choose others and specify same-sex partner, because the interviewers can then provide answer or true answers according to their own awareness, and therefore no legal liability will be attracted. The subcommittee has also stressed to the CNSD that there must be necessary training to the surveyors to ensure that they can explain the details to the interviewees. And some subcommittee members are concerned that mobile tablets will be used for collecting data in this by census, and there is the question of data security and privacy. Members reminded the CSD to remind interviewees of the risk of data leakage, and also personal data privacy must be protected. And the department has promised that after the completion of the by-census in 2016, they would provide an information paper to the relevant panel in council to brief them on the disposal of the 6,500 tablets to be used in this by-census. The subcommittee and the administration will not move any amendments to the order, but myself and also some members are going to speak in the council on this topic. Fifth Technical Committee for Allocation of Emission Allowances respect of specified allowances.
For allocation of emission allowances in respect of specified licenses is to allocate for each emission year from 1st of January 2020 the quantities of emission allowances for 3 specified pollutants, namely sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxides, and respirable suspended particulates for the electricity sector in Hong Kong. The subcommittee supports the fifth technical memorandum. During the course of deliberation, the subcommittee has studied the scope of specified pollutants, the formula and projected local electricity consumption for determining the emission allowances, the fuel mix for power generation, as well as the potential impact of tightening emission allowances on electricity tariffs. The subcommittee has also discussed with the administration issues relating to the interconnection of power grids, energy-saving initiatives, and development of renewable energy in Hong Kong. Both the subcommittee and the administration will not propose any amendment to the fifth technical memorandum. Members are invited to note the deliberations of the subcommittee as set out in the written report. Thank you.
May I remind members for these two subcommittees and the scrutiny period of the subsidiary legislation will expire on the 12th of December, and the deadline for giving notice is the 9th of December. The situation of business will, as at the 3rd of December, we have 13 business committees in action, and there are 10 subcommittees in operation. We have 5 subcommittees on the waiting list. No AOB items. Meeting adjourned.